Well, actually, I wanted to say something about death. When I was in college, one of my favorite books was The Denial of Death by Ernest Becker. It won the Pulitzer Prize in 1974, and if you haven't read it, you should definitely read it. And actually, I used it to write a lot of papers, from school. But he posits that one of the main driving forces in culture is to help us manage our terror of knowing that we will die and be forgotten. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to manage the terror of death and the worry that we'll be forgotten. And it used to be that religious beliefs helped people manage these fears. But in our modern era, I think many people either do this or try to do this. They try to do maximum good, or write an autobiography, or find a way to do so much good that they can help other people. But this is really tough because what if you're not engaged in a heroic quest? Does that mean that your life is meaningless? Sister Teresa, Saint Teresa of Lisieux, didn't think we had to be so grandiose. She had a different approach to meaning, which she called the little way, which was about going deep in everyday actions and infusing them with love. That's sort of more my speed. But I think my way is to find purpose and meaning, to let go of fear of not being enough, and to do it a little bit of both. So finding ways to do good things in society. I'm trying to save trees in LA. I'm trying to educate people about how corrupt our government is. And at the same time, being loving my life and being grateful and loving everything about my life. And I see my life as a gift, that I want to share my gift through my poetry, through my painting, and through my pottery. Not because I'm worried about being worthless or forgotten, but because to do that is what brings me the most joy. Making art brings me the most joy in my life. And then I get to share them, which is why I'm here. So I'm going to read 4 poems. And 3 of them are from a book of collection that I self-published called 100 Days. And one of them is what I wrote for tonight. The first one, and they're numbered, so it's because it's 100 poems. So the first one is number 99. We live in the darkness of time. Some say it's a moonlit night. At 2 a.m., I see Buddha among succulents on the deck. The birds screech. Warning of unhinged predators, unfair destruction. Sirens scream in the distance. I cross myself and say a prayer for those traveling in ambulances, crushed by cars, or the ones who mainline their veins with black tar, euphoria I can't afford. Tonight's moon has gone behind the clouds. Raccoons tear up the lawn. The neighbors have turned off the porch lights. I'm storing light in my chest. Tomorrow, the trash pickup leaves a mess for me to clean up and sweep. Once my grandmother pulled a full-length mirror on top of her. It hit the bedpost and shattered across her naked body. I sent my shaken, sleepy parents from the room, gathered her up, whispering in her ear, "It's okay, it's okay," and picked up the shards, her fractured mind. My only job is to give, smile at the checkout worker, speak kindly to the delivery man, look directly at a bully, show compassion for the crazy sisters. Hiking a trail in the Montana mountains, I found myself leaping before I even saw or heard the rattlesnake, the color of dirt and sage. I felt its writhing. Somewhere a father screams, punches a hole in a wall. A single mother raises her family. Children killed in war are lined up on the embankment. Tumors riddle bones, breasts lopped off, memories wiped clean. Bodies predict the ravages to come. The sick flock to sacred ground to repent. Skin thin, eyes hollow, slack jaws. Too late to pray or discover wings. I'd like to transform the "I've been wronged when someone cuts me off" or the "I'm right no matter the facts." I've been swimming gently downstream, almost flying, when suddenly a tidal bore slaps me under. I choke and tumble. Still, I don't fear death. I yearn to be one thing. Polish white stones as talismans, switch on lights in dark rooms, fill my head with silence, teach the small gifts I've learned. And it's okay, don't do the clapping in between. It makes me feel so self-conscious. This is a poem about, it's 94, it's sort of me imagining my parents meeting after dying. Most nights are too long. At 3 a.m. I wish for mercy. What are we anyway but mercury floating through? Mm-hmm. Animal gods bring me sleep if I'm lucky. Cricket mouths open, red clicking in my skull. I shake the shadows from my hair, lie awake counting aches. Tonight I recognize the gift of my perseverance. I saw her disembarking from the corner of my eye. He stood on the dock waiting at her to come ashore. They've moved on, though not very far from here. And this is the poem that I wrote in response to watching Meet Joe Black, actually. I watched, as a kid, actually, I watched all those black and white movies, like Gaslight and all of them were Lloyd. I mean, I would stay up late at night and just go watch them because I just thought they were amazing. And I loved that movie, Death Takes a Holiday. And I actually enjoyed Meet Joe Black. I actually thought, I can't remember the actress's name. I thought she was wonderful, the girl. Claire Forlani. She was wonderful. Yeah, she was really wonderful. What I also enjoyed, the transformation of Anthony Hopkins, and it is, can't ruin it because it is 3 hours long. And you don't feel the 3 hours, I have to say, at all. I enjoyed it because he was afraid of dying at the end. In the beginning, he was afraid of dying. And he worked himself into an acceptance of his fate, which was kind of beautiful. And also it was great to watch Brad Pitt. And I thought he was like, death is like an avatar in the movie. You know, he's like, being in a human body trying to figure out how to, be human. So this is called Learning to be Human. Imagine being in a field where everything exists and nothing. You have vision, but no eyes, no body, just a small humming sound. There is no I to speak, no reflection or judgment, just floating in a blue field, neither hot nor cold. There is no time. There is just being. Everything stays the same, endlessly undulating until you flow like light into a warm mass of cells. Awkward, learning to be human. Do we ever really adjust? The silences that eat the air between us. The dull chatter of emptiness. How impossible it is to say anything that seems true without spitting out the stark bitterness of turmeric and dandelions or the sickly sweetness of black licorice. Honey, you praise the bees for honey and mix it with lemon and hot water. You learn balance. It takes you more than a year to learn to walk. Many different voices speak to you. The man's face you call Da. The woman's face looks like yours. You can't discern a difference. She sings songs you remember and feeds you warm milk. It takes another year or so to join Babel to things. In the beginning, everything was one. Your first word flits across the window. Bird, you shout, with a tiny finger pointing. One day you fall, stab yourself above the eye with a screwdriver you carried. As the cloth comes over your face, you float across the room, to look at your small body. A revelation. That's me, you think. And the eye sees itself, recognizing the body as me. Think of all you've learned. How to call to the loons on a lake at night. The way sun rises every morning. How trees' leaves can speak even without the wind. How crows and hawks and sparrows are all birds but different. How damp can turn into fungus and mushrooms. How soil feeds worms. How the lines on your palms tell a story. How to shape your own story into something that makes sense. How to sort out the confusion of your own self-pity. How to stand in the ocean, let the surf knock you down and get up again. How to wash off the sand. How to capture lightning bugs and not kill them. How to urge a ladybug to fly home. How to count the stars in the night sky. How your skin smells like fields of wheatgrass. How the sun can burn your skin to a crisp. How clean white sheets feel like love. How to let your heart be repaired and made whole again. How to forgive the splinter. How to accept the angry wasps that sting. How to yield to the honking cars and wave. How to smile. How to love the body of your body. How to let the body of your body go. How to accept that you will drop this like an old pair of shoes and leave them by the door as you walk back in to the everything that is and the nothing that is there. You don't follow directions. This is the last poem that I'm going to read. It's the last poem of this book, and so it's poem 100. When it comes time, I will stand right up and walk right out of my body. I have loved being alive, giving birth to my son, watching the moon rise, stars chasing dog. Sitting in a rowboat on a lake at dusk, listening to the loons laugh, kissing your lips, touching you, touching me. I won't linger trying to remember those last words I wanted to say. Let me tell them to you now. I love you. This is not our last adventure. No matter how much we want to know what's next, death is the best mystery we have. I want to run into it with abandon, just the way I let the wind whip my hair into knots, riding next to you in your red convertible.